Who's watched Beast and Me on Netflix? Because we need to talk about the series as a whole. Let's get into it. First up, we have Aggie. Aggie lives out in Long Island, okay? Her new neighbor is Nile. What is Nile known for? He is known for his wife disappearing, and he is the number one suspect. Yes. He is also remarried to Nina. Yeah, it was quick, we know. Okay. Nile moves in next to Aggie. Nile wants to create a running path behind their house. Aggie is not here for it. She said, no, I like the woods behind my house untouched. Okay. So he is determined to get Aggie on board with his plan because he said, I'm paying for it. What's the problem? Because he also comes from a lot of money from his daddy. She's kind of wary of him because clearly he is a suspect in a murder investigation. Well, not really murder because the lady is missing, but again, he's the number one suspect. Anyways, so they go out to eat because he is determined again to get this running path because he's like, look, you're the only one. Get it together. When they go outside, they see her son. Okay, so her son has passed away. Okay, this is her ex-wife, Shelly, right over here. So they got into a car accident. Her and her son, the son passed away, and there's a boy who's driving the other car. She's determined. She said he is at fault. He was drinking and he was driving. I know it. Okay, so they see the boy outside the restaurant. Niall, he's like, "Ooh, I see it in your eyes. You want something to happen to that boy, and you're frustrated that you got to see him." And she's like, "Yeah, I don't like that I have to see him all the time around town." Okay, because they live in a small town, and she sees him all the time. She's also thrown a brick through the boy's window at his job. So the boy got a restraining order out on her. Anyways, next thing we know, the boy is missing. It's a little smooth side note in his car. His shoes are there, I believe, but he is nowhere to be found. She's like, Niall has something to do with it because clearly we was just outside and he was just talking about him. Now, in the middle of the night, guess who shows up at Aggie's house? Brian Abbott. He is part of the FBI. Okay. Brian said, watch out for Niall because I know that he's murdered his wife, but we can't find the body. Okay. So he said, watch out. He's a dangerous man. So Aggie is now putting two and two together, especially after the other boy goes missing. She said, wait a minute. Niall is up to something. And he got something in his eyes. You see them eyes? They're crazy. Okay. So Aggie calls Brian. She said, Brian, you might be on to something. We need to get some evidence. Okay. So Niall, his daddy, because his daddy is like obsessed with procreating, his daddy has twin boys who are like 6 or 7. At his old age. Yes, he does. They are Niall's brothers. Awkward. Okay. So Niall says, Aggie, you can come to the family function for the brothers because Aggie starts being like, you know what? Let me write a book about Niall because she's an author. Okay. And what she's writing about before she meets him is trash. Let's be honest. Okay. He's like, you need to talk to my daddy. This will be the perfect time to meet him and possibly talk to him, even though I really know he probably ain't gonna talk to you. Yeah. So they all go. Nina, Niall, Aggie, Martin is there. The uncle is there. They are all at the daddy's house. Brian is then at Niall's house to get evidence. Okay. She said, I know Niall's Fitbit, or he got a little ring, one of those Aura rings, has recorded him doing something to the boy. I think his last name is like Finnick or something like that. She said, I know he wasn't where he said he was. Okay. So Brian goes and sneaks into the house. They leave early because the daddy done pissed him off. So they leave early. Not a part of the plan, was it, Aggie? It was not. So now she's trying to call Brian to tell him, get your ass out the house because they on their way back. Okay. He ends up getting some stuff on the computer because he's also still, even though the case is technically closed, trying to get him for his wife's murder. He gets the evidence. Niall and Nina's dogs, though, bite Brian. Next thing we know, Brian is kidnapped. It was by the hackers that he needs to decode whatever is on this little disc, but I definitely thought it was the daddy. I definitely did. Anyways, we also know that Brian is sleeping with Agent Brenton. Okay. They're having a little tete-a-tete. She is married. We also find out that the uncle is talking to Agent Britain, knows her. He said, I need you to find out why Brian is talking to Aggie. Okay? Because they know that Aggie is talking to Brian. They just don't know the extent. He tells her, I only talked to her one time. That ain't true. But that's what he tells her. She's also his supervisor, so he really should be telling her the truth. But clearly should not. Okay. While Brian is getting the stuff decoded, he is basically kidnapped, like I said. So he is not answering Aggie, and Aggie is worried. Like, oh my gosh, where is this man? And did he find out anything on the phone? Guess what they find out on the little thumb drive, honey? He has the boy locked up somewhere, and there's a live feed showing the boy beat up. But they don't know where it's coming from because he got it all encrypted. So Aggie was right, partially, because Nile did not murder the boy, but he did kidnap him and beat him up. So he's not really like a boy, he's like a teenager. Anyways, he gets let go. He calls Aggie and says, I didn't find nothing. Aggie says, excuse me? What do you mean you didn't find nothing? He said, let it go. We was wrong. I didn't find nothing on Nile. So use a lie. Use a lie and the truth ain't in you. Okay? He takes it upon himself because he's like, I gotta find this boy, okay, to follow Nile. Nile is meeting with this congresswoman in this like abandoned building that they own, okay? He don't know that though, but he all up in the building. Nile finishes his meeting. Here comes Brian, okay? Brian is coming out the woodwork. I said, sir, we need to find out where the boy is. It ain't time to reveal yourself yet. They get to tussling. He pistol whips Brian to death. After he does this, does he go home? No. No. He goes to her house in the middle of the night. Okay? Days of drinking, days of dancing, days having a good old time. Excuse me? What? He then the next day has to dispose of the body. Okay? Because clearly he can't just keep this body around. It's an FBI agent. Okay? So he puts him in the back of his trunk. He puts him in his trunk. Okay, so Brian's trunk of the car, takes the license plates off because he's done this before clearly. Okay, takes him to the crusher and they crush him. I said, ain't the blood gonna come out? It did, but I guess they didn't really care because he paid them off. He takes his cell phone and a burner phone and tries to throw it out in a little lakey lake. Right when he's doing this, she texts him while he has the phone. I know that Nile killed his wife and I have proof. Ma'am, the man has not been answering for like 4 days. It is no time to be texting him crucial information. So now Nile is like, oh shit, the jig is up. And he puts two and two together that it's Aggie, because let's be honest. Okay. So now he's got to call Uncle Rick. Okay. Uncle Rick has to get the boy who's in the storage unit that he done kidnapped. Okay. And they put it in Aggie's house. And now he is deceased. Aggie comes home. Nile calls her and says, hey, I left something for you upstairs. Basically, she goes upstairs in her son's old room that she had not touched, honey. They have transformed it to the feed that everybody was seeing. Okay? Because when he was missing, she goes to his apartment. Who else goes to his apartment? Her, because they was tete-a-teting. Okay? They run into each other. She thinks she's on her side, doesn't realize she's been talking to them. Okay? But now the jig is up because this man is missing. She tells her, I have proof that he killed her. So now she's like, oh, I can't work with them no more. Can't do it. I can't do it. You know, because they responsible for too many things. Uncle Rick and the daddy, they said, no. You, ma'am, you want no parts of this. So they come to her house, what he does, go to her house and says, do you love your family? If you do, you don't know nothing. Okay, so now she is not talking to her. Okay, and she is on the run because the police think that she is the one that killed the boy. Whew. Okay, so now it goes on to Madison is back alive. Okay, so we go back into the past. Okay, Madison and Nile are married. Okay, they are at a gallery. Guess who shows up at the gallery of her opening? Brian. He's coming to arrest one of Nile, Daddy, and Rick's associates because he's part of the cartel. Okay. Nile and Daddy is like, what is going on and who is telling him our business and why won't he leave us the fuck alone? Okay. So they start to think it's Nina because Nina at the time is Madison's assistant. Okay, yeah, awkward as fuck now that she's married to this woman's husband. Okay, yeah. We do see Nina on the phone, so we also think that maybe she is the one talking to Brian. But we're also thinking why she ain't said nothing about what's going on lately if she was the one talking to Brian. Okay. Anyways, come to find out, Madison was the one talking to Brian. Madison didn't need to get into a fight because Nina said, I'm leaving, I got another job. Okay. And she basically tells her, you a bitch from New Jersey who don't know how to do nothing. Kind of. Okay. And she said, you ain't got no taste. That's what Madison tells Nina. So Nina is pissed and tells Nile, you want to know who's talking to Brian? Madison. He said, okay. So he goes to confront Madison. All hell breaks loose. Okay. She is now deceased. Okay. So now he got to call his daddy and his uncle to come clean up his mess. Okay. What do? They put Madison's body in a suitcase and bury her on one of their properties. Okay. Because they have a construction site that they about to build like a 20-story building on or something real tall, okay, in New York City. So she will no longer be heard from. And they really trying to get this passed so that this building can be built on top of her body and nobody finds her ever again. Okay. Now, back to present day. The daddy said, I know you hiding something. Okay. Because he had to call him to help him with that body and put it in Aggie's house. So the uncle tells the daddy, guess what? Your son done did it again. The daddy said he will never stop. Something's wrong with him. Because something's wrong with him. Okay. So the daddy, he has a stroke because he is so fed up with his dumb son. Okay. And his lust to want to murder people. Okay. So he said, oh, we can no longer clean this up. So the uncle is mad at him because he said, this is your fault. This is your fault that your daddy is in this stroke. Okay. They now got to put him in a coma and he is pissed because his brother is in this coma because his nephew is doing the fucking most. Okay. She's on the run still. All this is going on with this family. Okay. She's on the run. She goes and sees Nina. She said, Nina, girl, I did not do this, but I've already called the police. They're on their way. I just need you to know you ain't that dumb, girl. Okay. He killed the boy. He killed Madison. Okay. And somewhere inside, you know that he killed Madison. Okay. But you not in the inner circle because he think you dumb. Nina, she go back home to Nile. Well, you know where I would not have gone? Back home to this man. Okay. So Aggie gets arrested because clearly she's running from the police. So she gets arrested. Nile and Nina, they at the house. She said, let me know right now, did you kill Madison? Because deep down, she did love Madison. They just had a little fight. And so she felt hurt by her words. But she really did love Madison. I guess so much that she married her husband. Anyways, they get to arguing. They get to going at it, right? And he yells, yes, I did kill her. So she's like, oh my gosh, what? Da-da-da-da-da. Right? So she's kind of shook, but he's like, oh, finally, I told you everything because she's now pregnant. And he thinks that they about to be a big happy family because he got to tell the mama of his child that he is really a murderer. Okay, on multiple occasions because he also says, yes, I put the body in Aggie's house. Okay, so now, okay, it's the next day. He got a press conference with she's like a representative or something like that to talk about the building and how that's gonna go forward because she's been opposing him this whole time. Nina shows up in support of her husband. She said, I sent you a text message. Open that text message. Guess what it is? It's a recording of him of everything they said last night and how he confessed to her murder. He confessed to the murder at Aggie's house. Guess who's swooping in? The FBI, not them, because she ain't nowhere to be found and he is dead. But they come and get him. He is now arrested. So Rick says, I'm going to turn state witness against my nephew because I'm fed up with all his shenanigans. Okay. So her little recording didn't really do much. It did get him arrested, but they couldn't use it in court because she recorded the man he didn't know. But They could use all his evidence because he knew where everything was happening. Okay, all the bodies was buried. Okay, he then also got rid of him because he didn't want him waking up finding out about all of this. Okay, he said, "Rest in peace, brother." And the brother is now going, "Let me know. Did you watch Beast in Me? Because when I tell you this was a lot, it was a lot. But let me know. Did you watch it? Because it was good."